This one was a bit prickly, but honestly, I couldn't wait to get the teeth into it, to be honest, lads. I stalled the ball. I'm going to talk about something close to home. The real reason the world's on the move. Who wrecked the shop, let's say. Everyone in the mat, you know, lads. They're down the local losing their heads over who's coming into the country. Your man Tommy Robinson's over across the pond shouting his head off, and politicians on the telly are giving out non-stop about asylum seekers. All of a sudden, it used to be taboo to talk about it, if you can recall. But what's the real crack then? Who actually smashed up these countries, for example, and sent millions running for their lives in the first place? Why aren't we talking about that? I mean, here's the proper breakdown of who's actually at fault for the global mess, including the heavy-hitting foreign policy hawks who pushed the button. And I'm going to have no conspiracy theories here, lads. Zero. Anything I'm going to say, fact-checkable. That's the way I want to do it. So, we'll talk about the US war hawks, the bomb first and ask later club. You can't start dropping ordnance across the Middle East, destabling entire continents, and then act shocked when the local neighbourhood goes completely banjaxed. When you look at who built the ramp up to the 2003 Iraq War and the post 9/11 invasions, a specific crew of Washington Warhawks ran the show. Let's name them. Dick Cheney and Donald Rumsfeld, the heavyweights in the Bush administration. Vice President Cheney and Defense Secretary Rumsfeld pushed hard for military force, hyping up unverified intelligence about WMDs, weapons of mass destruction, for anybody else, and setting off a chain reaction of sectarian civil war that displaced millions. Now, what would the chain effect of that be? Paul Wolfowitz and the neocons. Wolfowitz, Deputy Defense Secretary. Ooh, defense, really, attack. Anyway, he was the intellectual engine behind the regime change in Iraq. Along with figures like Richard Pearl, they insisted that invading Iraq would magically create a peaceful democracy. Little pink bunny land. Instead, it tore the region apart. Lo and behold, the Senate cheerleaders, Lindsey Graham and John McCain, both deceased now. Alhamdulillah. Over in Congress, Senator Lindsey Graham and the late John McCain were the loudest cheerleaders on cable news, voting for the 2002 war authorization and demanding more troops. Not going in and fighting themselves, sending your kids and other people, more strikes and further interventions in Libya and Syria for decades. The UK and Tony Blair, you broke it, you own it. Tommy Robinson loves to moan about refugees turning up on his doorstep, but he conveniently forgets his own government helped cause the disaster. The 2003 coalition, former Prime Minister Tony Blair marched the UK right alongside the Yanks into Iraq, creating over 4 million refugees, Tommy, refugees. The 2011 Libya bombing, the UK joined NATO in bombing Libya to remove Gaddafi. They left a lawless vacuum behind, turning Libya into a primary hub for human traffickers across the Mediterranean. Yeah, great job, lads. The Empire legacy, going further back. British imperial line drawing, like Sykes/Picot. They drew fake borders on maps across the Middle East, setting off multi-generational conflicts that are still displacing people today. Displacing. Afterwards, I'm going to get into Israel. Actually, who funds Tommy Robinson? But I'm going to get into their role in the displacement next. But that's just for you for now to chew on. Enjoy.